Hey everybody, this video is going to walk you through what you need to know to create and craft your informational conclusions. In order to do that, make sure you have this document open on your screen. Everywhere where you see these pink highlighted blanks, you're going to fill those in based on the video. You'll also notice down at the bottom that we have a types of informational conclusions reference. And when it comes time to create your own conclusion, we'll expect for you to be selecting from these different types of conclusions in order to wrap up your essay. So here we go. Let's go ahead and start the mini lesson. So this mini lesson again is all about informational conclusions. And it's important to know that a conclusion is the opposite of the introduction, but we don't want it to just be the exact same, whether it's format or wording, as your introduction. It needs to wrap up your essay in a tidy package and kind of bring it home for your reader. Make sure they have some solid closure. So remember that the introduction begins general and ends specific with the thesis statement. So in introductions, our very last sentence of our introduction is always going to be our thesis statement, which is short, concise, clear, powerful, to the point, and it is a single, complete sentence. The conclusion, however, begins specific with a rephrased thesis and then kind of moves to the general, moves to how you would want people to apply what they've gained from your writing to their own lives or specific situations. So in a conclusion, again, your topic sentence should be your rephrased thesis statement. It suggests to your reader that you've accomplished what you actually set out to accomplish. It brings it all back so that they remember what you stated in the introduction. However, do not simply restate your thesis statement. That would be super redundant. It's not good to just state the same sentence over and over, just like it's not good to state the same piece of evidence over and over. Your goal is to rephrase the thesis statement with a fresh and deeper understanding so that you leave your audience with connected thoughts, how all of the pieces fit together. Your supporting sentences, so after your topic sentence, should summarize what you've already said in the body of your essay, but again, without being repetitive. The goal is to take what you've said and make connections. Make sure that your audience can see how everything ties together. Here's a little pro tip for you, though. Your conclusion is no place to bring up new ideas. Just because you're trying not to be repetitive doesn't mean you should bring up something brand new. As a matter of fact, if a brilliant idea tries to sneak into the final paragraph, you just need to pluck it out and let it have its own paragraph in the body, or truly just leave it out completely. By the time that you're in your conclusion, you need to not be bringing up new ideas. And then finally, like we talked about, your conclusion is going to start specific but end general, which means your closing sentence should help the reader feel a sense of closure. It's your last word on the subject. It's probably the last thing that your audience is going to remember. So it's really, really important that you use a powerful, neutral closing statement. You want to demonstrate the importance of your ideas. You want to propel your reader into a new view of the subject, and you want to end on a positive note as much as possible. So there are lots of different types of informational conclusions. You can return to the theme or themes in the introduction. Some of you chose creating metaphors and things like that for your introduction. Some of you possibly chose using a narrative type introduction. No matter what, if you had a situation or something that was in your beginning, you would want to come back to that at the end. You can also highlight your theme or what you were trying to communicate in a similar way at the end of your piece. Again, make sure you're bringing your reader full circle. You can do a provocative or insight or quotation from the research reading that you did. Again, this shouldn't be something that's highlighting a brand new idea, but it can function similarly to those of you who included a quote at the beginning of your essay. It's just something that encapsulates all of this that you've been writing, and so that could be a possibility. You can point to broader implications. So again, what that means is you're taking what you talked about in your paper, in your essay, and you're making a connection for your reader for how it could possibly apply to their own lives, apply to other situations, other scenarios. You could propose a course of action, a solution, or questions for further study. We've talked about some of this already. You have to be really careful with this kind of a conclusion because you still have to stay neutral in an informational piece. And you want to be careful with questions because you, A, don't want to pepper your audience with questions, and B, want to make sure that the questions you're asking are really insightful. There's an art to that. So I would caution you on that one. And then finally, you can summarize and put it all together. You could include a brief summary of the main points and then show your reader how the points you made and the support and examples that you use all fit together, kind of like a big puzzle. By the time that you're finished with this video, you should have those notes completed. Please make sure to submit that assignment and to use what you've learned when writing the conclusion to your essay.